Many people ask, where does the Bible say that Jesus is God? While Jesus' divinity is affirmed throughout Scripture, a powerful moment is found in the book of Hebrews where God the Father declares Jesus as God. In this video, we'll explore this key passage and show how Jesus himself also claims his divinity by saying he is one with the Father. In Hebrews chapter 1, verse 8, God the Father speaks about Jesus and says this remarkable statement. But about the Son, he says, "Your throne, O God, will last forever and ever. A scepter of justice will be the scepter of your kingdom." The Father is clearly addressing the Son, and he calls Jesus God with the Greek word theos, the same word used throughout the New Testament to refer to God. This shows that Jesus shares the divine nature with the Father. It's not just humans or followers declaring Jesus as divine. God the Father himself calls Jesus God. Many also wonder, did Jesus himself ever claim to be God? The answer is yes. In John chapter 10, verse 30, Jesus makes a direct and bold statement about his relationship with the Father. I and the Father are one. This declaration of unity is not just a statement of purpose or will, but of essence. Jesus is saying that he shares the same divine nature as the Father. The reaction of the people at the time confirms this understanding. After Jesus said this, the Jewish leaders wanted to stone him for blasphemy because they knew he was claiming to be God. John chapter 10, verse 33. "We are not stoning you for any good work," they replied, "but for blasphemy, because you, a mere man, claim to be God." In Hebrews chapter 1, verse 8, the writer is quoting Psalm 45, which was originally a psalm celebrating the reign of an earthly king. But its deeper meaning finds its fulfillment in Jesus, the eternal King. Psalm 45, verse 6 says, "Your throne, O God, will last forever and ever. A scepter of justice will be the scepter of your kingdom." By applying this psalm to Jesus, Hebrews shows that Jesus' throne is eternal and that he is not just a human king, but God himself. The Father declares Jesus' divinity, confirming that his kingdom is forever. This ties directly into Jesus' own statements about his divine authority and his unity with the Father. In addition to Hebrews, we find further affirmation of Jesus' divinity in the Gospel of John. At the very beginning of John's Gospel, we see a clear statement that Jesus, called the Word, was with God and was God. John chapter 1, verse 1 says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." This verse reveals that Jesus, the Word, existed from the beginning and shares the same divine nature as the Father. John chapter 1, verse 14 continues to explain that this divine Word became flesh and lived among us as Jesus Christ. This means Jesus is both fully God and fully man. Another significant moment where Jesus claims divinity is in John chapter 8, verse 58. In a conversation with the Jewish leaders, Jesus refers to himself as I am, the same name God used for himself in the Old Testament when speaking to Moses. John 8:58 says, "Very truly I tell you," Jesus answered, "before Abraham was born I am." The phrase I am directly connects Jesus to God's self-identification in Exodus chapter 3, verse 14, where God says to Moses, "I am who I am." By using this name, Jesus is clearly stating that he is the eternal God, the same God who revealed himself to Moses. This caused the Jewish leaders to try to stone him because they understood it as a claim to divinity. So where does the Bible say that Jesus is God? We see it in multiple places. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 8 shows the Father calling Jesus God, affirming his divine status. Jesus himself claims divinity in John chapter 10, verse 30 by declaring that he and the Father are one, and in John chapter 8, verse 58 by calling himself I am. Throughout Scripture, we see both God the Father and Jesus affirming his divine nature. Jesus is not just a prophet or a good teacher. He is God, eternal and reigning forever. As Christians, we can worship him as the divine Son, knowing that his throne will last forever and ever.